So Vrana on waivers was interesting. I don't understand what happened behind the scenes. I don't think a lot of people know what happened behind the scenes. So he went through the player assistance program. I know that he obviously battled injuries. So I wonder if this is the perspective of the Red Wings. Like, they're sending him down, not thinking anyone's going to claim him out of respect for the situation. Obviously, uncertainty as well. And that he'll maybe get some time in the AHL. I don't know what's going to happen with the Vrana situation. I do know that there's probably going to be a lot of trades coming up or a lot of player movement. It usually always happens coming out of the freeze. But Ryan Merkley is a guy right now that could get traded by the San Jose Sharks. He requested a trade. He was a first-round pick. I remember watching him. I'm trying to think of the other team he played in the OHL, but I remember watching him with the Guelph Storm. But Ryan Merkley, it might have been maybe Peterborough, but Ryan Merkley, good offensive defenseman. He's got to learn to play defense. But he's got a lot of raw talent. He's only 22. So Ryan Merkley, I feel like the Boston Bruins, I know Dangle threw that out there on Twitter, but I would even go as far as I feel like the Habs would inquire about Ryan Merkley just because they're thin on defense in terms of top tier offensive guys, at least in the near future. So I wonder if the Habs would look at a Ryan Merkley. If I could throw it in a few other teams, I'm trying to think of who would give him a shot. I wonder if Arizona would look at it. I wonder if Chicago would look at it. Outside of that, I'm not too sure if there's any other teams that come to mind right away. Yeah, but there's a few teams. I wonder even if Ottawa would look at it. I don't think so, but Ottawa's been looking for a right shot guy. I wonder if Ottawa would be like, hey, if you take Zaitsev, we'll give you a pick and prospect. You take Zaitsev, and then we'll have Ryan Merkley. I don't know. I wonder if Ottawa would look at a Ryan Merkley situation. But, yeah, would the Blues consider trading Nathan Walker? So we're going from the chat here for some trade rumors, but I wonder who the Blues are going to trade in general. I mean, I go down the list with the Blues, and they've got, the Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly trades are kind of tough right now. Injuries are tough because they probably want to trade at least one of those guys. I don't know. Ivan Barbashev is probably a trade candidate. I would even imagine Nola Chari is a trade candidate. He's a pending UFA. But yeah, Nathan Walker, he's just on a really affordable deal for a year after this. So I wonder if the Blues just keep him. But even a depth guy like Levo or Pitlick could go for a later draft pick. Defenseman, I already talked about it. Mikkola, they could move. But man, that Parayko contract's so scary. If the Blues are smart, they try to trade that Parayko contract. As soon as he goes through a great stretch, that's why I'm saying the Sharks should trade Erik Karlsson realistically, because this is the best you're going to see Erik Karlsson the rest of his career. He is on an absolute tear this year. You are going to get the best value for Erik Karlsson. If you do not trade Erik Karlsson this year, that contract's going to get bad again, and the Sharks are going to be shaking their head on why they didn't move him when his value was high. So. Similar with Parayko. If Parayko goes through a better stretch again, I think you could look at that contract and be like, man, 8 years, you've got to move on if you can. As I said, if the Blues are going through a retool or a rebuild, then you should do that because they got their big contracts and Thomas and Kyrou and go down the list. So it's a risk in itself. But just, yeah, certain teams in that Central, I know people are talking about the Wild. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the Wild, they're going to see what spot they are in right at the deadline. I don't think they're going to make any serious decisions until they can see what happens with their team, because I think the Wild are just, obviously with the Parise and Suter buyouts and just what happened there. But we'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of teams busy, but there's also going to be a lot of teams that just wait till the deadline because they want to see where they're at. So hopefully a lot of trades coming soon. So Darkness is out here saying Samuel Girard to the Blues, and the Avalanche maybe bring a defenseman back and acquire Ryan O'Reilly as their second line center. Are we saying yay or nay to that proposal? That's interesting. We're getting a little mailbag going here. Wow. But yeah, I always like the videos and streams, but that's interesting. I don't know if I don't see that happening, but that's funny. I think the scenario where the Blues and Avalanche make a bigger trade as division rivals would be funny, but you know what? I do think Ryan O'Reilly as a target for the Avs is not out of this world. So